श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम अखंडानंद संबोधः वंदनात्यस्य जायते गोविंदं तमहं वंदे चिदानंदतनुं गुरुम्. So yesterday we saw how this desire troubles us and binds us into the samsara. Why does it do that? Why does it delude the man and woman by their activities, by their laugh, their smile, everything? Why does it do it? It does it to keep the lineage, the procreations, that to grow, that to keep it alive, meaning to continue the creation. So that is how Ishvara created it in that way, so that this fellow gets deluded and he gets into that kind of activities. So that person is called as Brahmaha. Brahmaha means a person who destroys the Brahman. One who destroys the Brahman. How does he destroy the Brahman actually? He destroys the Brahman by not accepting the existence of the self. He destroys the self by not accepting the existence of self. That is how he becomes a Brahmaha. Okay, so Brahmayati, and making him not accepting the Brahman, the self, it deludes him and it makes him roam around. Ato antarangastita kama, ato antarangasta kama vegat, bhogye pravritti swata eva siddha, sarvasya jantor dhromanyatha ched, avoditarthe katham pravrittihi. Atah antaranga sita kama vegat bhogye pravrittihi swata eva siddha sarvasya jantoho dhruvam anyatha ched abodhitartheshu katham pravrittihi. Beautifully he is saying. Atah, therefore, what happens is sarvasya jantoho antarangasta kama vegat bhogye pravrittihi dhruvam swata siddha swata eva siddha. Atah sarvasya janto, therefore, for all the beings, it is not with respect to only human beings, it is with respect to all the beings. Antarangasta kama vega, because of the kama, the desire, not just the desire, the power of desire. Kama vega, he says. Vega here is power, the strength of the desire, which exists inside, in your mind, in your heart. Because of the power of that, bhogye pravrittihi, person is involved in the object of sensual pleasure, the objects. How does he become attached to the sensual objects? So he says, swata eva siddha, dhruvam swata eva siddha. There is no doubt about it. It is natural for him. Being attached to the sensual objects is a natural thing for every being. It is not just for human beings, for every being. Can you say so? Anyatha chet, if it is not so, then we are giving the reason. Abodhitartheshu pravritti katham. For a thing which is not taught anywhere, how can you be involved in it? See, we here by kama, we are not just referring to the lust. We have already explained it. We are also including the desire. How? Let us see. See, first let us take lust. The lust, the pravritti of lust is intercourse and all that competition. Now, see, at least human beings have the option of going to school or interacting with others and things like that, now internet and all that. So they may have some knowledge about that. That's a different thing. But what about the animals? Let us take a cat or a dog or a monkey. Where do they learn? It is a natural process. It is not taught. It is a natural process. Everyone knows it. This is one thing. Okay. The other thing, Icha, when we take it as Icha, desire, just the desire. Simple. So, desire, with respect to desire, there is another issue. What is that? Desire for objects is not also taught. Like a child. Child is interested in playing with the toy. It doesn't even know that it is a toy. It doesn't even know that this object is called as toy, or this is something which is interesting. Just plays with it. It just licks and things like that and just throws it and then it gets attached to some other object and all that. So he says, where does this come? Where does this desire for the object which it doesn't even understand? I'm not even saying it does not know, it doesn't even understand. So where does that desire stem from? That is why he says abodhitartha vishaye. When things which are not taught, in things which are not taught, when things which we don't have any idea about, how can there be desire or lust? So after saying that, he says, beautiful, he says, Tenaiva sarvajantunam kamana balavattara jiryatyapichatehe asmin kamana naiva jiryati. This is an important thing. What does he say? Tena eva sarvajantunam kamana balavattara jiryatyapi cha dehe asmin kamana naiva jiryati. For this very reason, since it is a natural thing, it's a definitive thing, which is a natural thing which happens, takes place in everybody's inside. Therefore, sarvajantunam kamanam balavattara. The desire, the lust in every being is a very strong one. That is why it is very difficult to gain victory over it. It is very difficult to gain control over it. We are under its control. Whether we want to accept it or not, we are under its control. So it is very difficult for us to gain control over that desire. That it is not just a desire, it's not just lust, it's also hate. Desire, hate, both. So he says, jiryatapi chadehe. Though the body is disintegrating, it is becoming weak because of old age and all that. But still, old age and all that means old age, disease, whatever it may be. Kamana naiva jiryati. Though your body is weak, your desire for things, sensual objects, is not weak. It's not weak. It doesn't go off. See, a kid, it does not have the strength to involve in the object of sense organs. But still, the desire for this object, that object, which it does not even comprehend, it doesn't stop it. That is why Bhagavan Bhashyakara in the Bhajagovindam says, Balastavat krida sakta hai, tarunastavat taruni sakta hai, vruddhastavat chinta sakta hai. Okay? A kid is always involved in playing something or other. Whereas the young boy or young girl, they are interested in the opposite sex. Okay? And the old man, chinta sakta, it is said. Chinta sakta means it is always bombarded with thoughts. Why? His physical body is not capable of reacting. Therefore, his mind is not keeping quiet. It just wants things from the past and future. It always has some ideas about the past and future, whether liking or disliking it. Both like and dislike is what is called as kamana here, not just the like. You have to remember that very clearly. It is not just your like, it is also your dislike. Because when we talk about the sense object, it is like poison, he says, Bhavan Bhashyaka. Vishayam vishatulyo hi, in Vek Chudamani he says. So why? Because raga dvesha samudbhava, it comes from desire and hatred. So like and dislike, both we are talking about as kamana. It is not just the likes. Like I'll explain. See, whether you like or not, see, let us say you like something. You say, I want this. Now, I don't want this. So, I want this, I don't want this. Two things. I want this, that is a like. I don't want this, that's a hatred, right? But that is also kind of like. I like to not have this. I like to have this. So, whether you like to have or you don't like to have, that is like. Right? So that is why he says, even when the body is weak, the thought imprints, the kama, the desire inside is never weak. It is always creating havoc in your inside, the mind. So how to get rid of this? Please help us. If you ask, then he says, Aveksha Vishaye dosham buddhiyukto vichakshanaha kama pashena yo muktaha samukte pati gocharaha. Aveksha Vishaye dosham buddhiyuktaha vichakshanaha कामपाशेन यो मुक्तः स मुक्तेः पथि गोचरः अवेक्ष्य विषये दोषम विषये दोषम अवेक्ष्य in the objects vishaye in the objects in the sensual objects dosham avekshya seeing avekshya means to see seeing the defects. Seeing the defects means that is what we said. In the sense object, you have to see defects. Like a sense object itself is a defect. That is the best way. That is why we said Vishayam Vishatulyohi. The sense object is equivalent to poison. Visha, poison. Vishaya, object. Tulya, same, equal. But there is another problem. See, he says Vishayam Vishatulya or Vishayam Vishaya Dosham Aveksha. You can see defects. How? Object defect. But do you think you can get rid of the objects just by thinking like that? There are many things which you can get rid of like that, but not everything. How? Like I'll say, see, you can say, I accept everyone to be self except this person. Except this person. Simple. So you are excluding people. You are hating somebody, so you're excluding people. That means there is a desire, hatred. Desire or hatred does not really matter. Desire is hatred is desire. We said that, right? So you have still some attachment. So that is why he says, Vaveksha Vishaye Dosham. Like we explained how to see. See, Bhagavan Bhashyakara said, you see one example that he brought. You see a woman as a very beautiful object or a man as a beautiful object. The lips. What does that lip? Oh, beautiful lip he has, right? So that lip, the smell of that lip, that saliva which you see is a very disgusting smell. Okay. Oh, he has a very beautiful nose. Oh, that nose drips and it has phlegm and all that filled inside. Very, 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 very bad. Eyes, beautiful eyes, attractive eyes. That eyes will always be flowing with tears, and it has some dirt inside also in the sides also. It collects some dirt in the sides also. So everything which you see as beautiful, he just stopped with that. He said everything you see as beautiful, just see the defect there. It is not a very big difficult. The problem is we always know that there is a defect in it. That is the problem. We know there is defect with the objects, but we just ignore it. We ignore it. That is the biggest problem we face. So he says, Buddhiyukta Vichakshana. Buddhiyukta means the person who is intellect, who has intellect. Vichakshana, who has the capability to inquire. Both things are important. Buddhiyukta, you should be intelligent and you should have the capability to see through things. Why so? See, I have seen intellect people, very intelligent people, but they have a very bad use of that intellect. They misuse their intellect. So here he says, Buddhiyukta and Vichakshana, both the words. He should be intelligent as well as capable enough to use his intelligence to inquire into the things properly. So, Kama Pashena Yo Mukta. And if he is able to with using his intellect, inquire and see the defects in things, in that very thing he is attracted at that very time. See, you have to understand this. The object of sensual object, the object of desire which you see, desire or hatred, they are not always the object of desire or hatred. Sometimes you desire that object, another time you hate that very object. You hate that very object which you desired. So what we mean here by saying that seeing the defect is at that very moment when you have the desire or when you have the hate for that very object, at that very point you have to see the opposite. If you have the desire for the object, you have to see the hate for that object. If you have the hate for an object, you have to see. I'm not even saying that. You just have to understand that there is a defect. You see, you have the desire for the object. See that desire as the defect. You see hate for that object. See the hate itself as the defect. Then what happens is Kama Pashena Yo Mukta. You are delivered from the bondage of desire. Kama. You are delivered, you are liberated from. Mukta means you are liberated. Liberated from what? Not for the samsara, but at least from this attachment to the kama. Pasha. Pasha is noose. Yama, Lord of Death, he has the new noose. It's like the noose which the cowboys used to catch the horse, etc. So this noose, this kama, is caught across our neck, and it is tightening our its grip. It is killing us. So he says, kama pashena yuktam mukta. If you are liberated from that noose, then sat mukte pati gocharaha. He is the person who is capable of traveling in the path of liberation. Only he is capable of traveling in the path of liberation. Kamasya. So next, okay, very beautiful. So now, what is there a method to get rid of this kama? So he says, Kamasya vijayopayam sukshmam vakshyamyaham satam sankalpasya parityagaha upayas sulabho mataha. Beautiful shloka this is. Kamasya vijay upayam sukshmam vakshyamyaham satam sankalpasya parityagaha upayah sulabho mataha. Kamasya sukshmam vijayopayam satam vakshyamyaham. For the kama is subtle, very subtle method to get rid of the kama. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to explain to you the very subtle means to get rid of the kama. What is that? Sankalpasya parityaga. Very simple words it is. Sankalpa parityaga. What is sankalpa actually? Sankalpa is will. Okay. So will. And that is what is the definition for the mind. Sankalpa vikalpatmako manaha. Mind is where there is will and there is choice. If we have will and choice, then that is called as mind. Thoughts. So giving up mind is what is. Oh, that's a very huge thing. I first said sankalpa. It looked very simple. Now giving up mind, it's very difficult. So he said, Sukshmam, I'm going to teach you a subtle secret. And that is to get rid of the kama. Vijayopayam, to gain victory over the kama. And now he says sankalpa is the means. And what does sankalpa? Sankalpa is basically mind. That is what is the whole problem. I don't know how to get rid of it. I'm asking you, you say, get rid of the mind. Sankalpa is a very beautiful word. You have to understand that word. In this shloka, this word sankalpa is not clearly said. So, upayah sulabha mataha. He says, this is the easiest method. What is that? What is that? What is the easiest method to get rid of the desire? Sankalpasya parityaga, to get rid of the sankalpa. So, since you can't understand sankalpa through this shloka, just keep it as sankalpa. Okay? Next shloka. What does next shloka says? Shrute drishte va bhogye yasmin kasminscha vastuni samichinatva kamo nodeti karhichit. This is the real secret actually. It says Shrute api drishte api va bhogye yasmin kasminscha vastuni samichinatva dhityagat kamo na udeti karhichit. Beautiful this is. Now you have to remember, what does the activity, why do you put yourself in the activity of the sensual objects? You act because there is desire. You desire because there is a knowledge regarding it, right? So if you want to quit the activity, you have to stop desiring. So that is where he comes. How do I stop desiring? This is not even with respect to lust. Remember, it is desire, simple desire for anything. How do I stop desiring? So I find the defects. That is not successful. I am not successful at it always. How do I do that then? This is a very beautiful thing, important thing. So he says, Shrute drishte api. Shruta means that which is heard, meaning from the Vedas. Drishte means pratyaksha, whatever you see here. This can also be interpreted as Shrute means you have not experienced it, you have not seen it, but you have heard it from someone. Shruta also can mean you have heard it from someone. Shruta means from the Vedas. Shruta also means you have heard it from somebody. And drishta, you have seen it yourself. That kind of bhogya. Bhogya means the sense objects. So the sense object which you have seen or which you have heard, with respect to that, yasmin kasmin shavatani, whatever it may be, doesn't really matter what the object is. Simple pen, simple thing. We don't even have to worry about which object are we talking about. Any object here. Yasmin kasmincha vastuni. How do I get rid of the attachment? Secret is this. Listen to this word properly. Samichinatva dhityaga. Tyagat. Fifth case. Samichina dhityaga. Samichina. Nice. Dhi. Intellect. Tyaga. Giving up. Giving up that it is very good. Nice. Attractive. That is important. We said, why am I attached to this kind of things? Shobhanadhyasa, we said. Shobhanadhyasa, the superimposition of beauty in it. See, Samichinatva means beauty, seeing it as beautiful. That is not just it. Samichina also means asamichinatva. We don't just, I said, desire is not just desire, desire is also hate. I desire to not have this. I desire to have this. Both kind of desire and hate is desire. Whether I like something or I don't like something, it is desire. So what happens is, I like something because there is a likeliness there. I have superimposed a likeliness. This is nice to me. This is good for me. If we call this this Shobhanadhyasa, we call this Mag Ishta Sadhanam. This object is conducive for me, comfortable for me, nice for me, is useful for me. That utility, the idea of utility is what is Samichinatva. And with respect to the objects you don't like, Asamichinatva, this is not comfortable for me, this is not conducive for me. So this is not a proper utility for me. So whether you like something or you dislike something, that likability and dislikability, that idea, that is what is sankalpa. Do you understand? First, you enter into activity, pravritti. And for the pravritti, the cause is desire or hatred. For the desire or hatred, the causes are that it is good or bad. The idea, the knowledge that it is good or bad for me is the cause for the desire that I want this or I don't want this, which is the cause for your activity with regards to that, like and dislike. So that is why he says, Samichinata dhityagat, by giving up the idea that it is good or bad, kamo no udeti karhichate, no one will have any kind of desire or hatred. You understand? So you will, if you don't want to have any desire or hatred, you have to give up. The first thing you have to, the only thing you have to do is give up the likability and dislikability, the idea of good or bad with respect to any object. Simple, very simple, right? So he says, beautiful. This is where he comes in the 64th shloka. He makes it very clear. How does he say? Kamasya bijam sankalpaha sankalpadeva jayate bije nashte ankura iva tasmin nashte vinashyati. How does it happen? So we know jnana, ichcha, pravritti. We have knowledge, we have desire, then we act. So with respect to the knowledge is what is talking about, the idea of likability and dislikability. That is knowledge. And because of that, I start liking it or disliking it. That is ichcha. And because I like or dislike, I act. That is pravritti. Now, if you want to stop the pravritti, you have to stop the like and dislike. If you want to stop the like and dislike, you have to stop the likability and dislikability with respect to the object. That is why he says, Kamasya bijam sankalpa. The seed for, bija means seed. The seed for kama is sankalpa. Likability and dislikability. The will. I like this, I don't like this. That will is what is a sankalpa. So he says, Kamasya bijam sankalpa. There, the seed for the desire is sankalpa. Okay. Now, sankalpa deva jayate. Sankalpa, only from the sankalpa desire springs. That is why he says, Kamasya bijam sankalpa. And bije nashte ankura iva. When you roast the seed or when you kill the seed, when you destroy the seed, can it sprout? There can be no sprout possible. So if you destroy the sankalpa, if you destroy the likability and dislikability with respect to the object, there can be no like or dislike with respect to any object. If there is no like or dislike, then there can be no activity. So to stop the activity, you have to stop the seed for it, the cause for it, which is the like and dislike. To stop the like and dislike, which is desire or hate, which is caused by the, you have to stop the cause, which is the likability and dislikability. Samichinatva, asamichinatva. He says samichinatva only, but it is not just that. It is also asamichinatva. Your likability and dislikability with respect to the object. So if you stop from there, if you, how do you do that? You cannot just say, I like this, so I will start hating from today. No. I hate this, I'll start liking from today, loving it from today. No, that is not what we said. We are not asking you to counter it with the opposite desire. No. We don't want you to have desire or hatred towards it. A complete upeksha. Just discard it. Just dislike it. Just discard it. Don't even ignore it. Just don't give any importance to it. So for the like and dislike, ignoring it, not ignorance. Ignoring it is the only way. Whether you like or dislike, you have to just bring in the not ignorance. Remember that. So you have to ignore it. Ignoring is the only way to prevent your like and dislike. Whether you like or dislike does not really matter. Don't go to the opposite. Ignore it. If you ignore it, whatever you ignore, you cannot have like or dislike with respect to the ignorant object. Let it be whatever. I don't care. If you have that I don't care attitude, why will you be having like or dislike? I'm not saying I don't care. That is hatred. That is hatred. I'm not asking you to get into that hatred thing. I don't care. Let it be. Let it exist. What if it exists or does not exist? It should not affect you. That is what is said here. Bj nashte. If that likability and dislikability is completely destroyed, then there can be no like or dislike. Then there can be no activity with reference to the like or dislike. Okay. So we'll continue with this. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purna Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.